Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk some Darling in the Franxx episode 18, my quick impressions video, what I thought about this episode. So, a lot of things happen in the episode, right? We have the wedding, we have the Hachi Nana subplot, we have the Ikuno, I guess, kind of confession, we have the 02 horrible dreams and nightmares and ghosts of her past. Pretty much, I'm happy with that one because 02 is responsible for the death of many a parasite. She should be held accountable to some degree because, like, man, like, listen, she was fully in the right of mind when she decided to destroy those parasites. So I'm happy that she's getting her just desserts for that in general. I'm glad she's not pulling some kind of weird karma escape here. Moving on, we had then the 9 assault during the wedding, and yeah, then the memory alteration. So we have a lot of story beats, we have a lot of things going on, and the episode just kind of peppers it all around the main event, that being Mitsuru and Kokoro enjoying their life until they're like taken away. So overall, the main emotional crux of this episode, Kokoro and Mitsuru's memory wipe. Do I care? Not really, not beyond like the initial shock of, oh my god, they took them to be indoctrinated. Honestly, when I was hearing the term indoctrination, I thought these kids were going to be sat in a chair and they were going to be just played some weird propaganda and just brainwashed again, but to find out that it's just a memory alteration. And mind you, like, if we didn't know that Hiro and 02 were memory altered and they had managed to overcome it, this would be much scarier. But it's not, because even at the end of the episode, Kokoro is showing how much of a joke the memory alteration is. And so when it comes to the memory alteration stuff, I don't particularly care, because whatever, you're just resetting them to where they were 18 episodes ago. You can just build it back up. It's really not that big of a deal. Ape has shown they don't have a full understanding of human consciousness. The memory alteration stuff is a flawed technology. It's just a band-aid on a bigger problem. That wound is still gonna fester. It's gonna come back, and it's gonna come back probably in a very climactic moment, and it's gonna be great. Really, all that this has done is just saved Mitsuru and Kokoro from the 9s for the next couple of episodes, which is overall a good thing. Like, the less attention that the kids have on themselves from the 9s in general is good. Right, so like the whole thing, like it serves as like maybe as another thing for the kids to chalk down as to what they don't like, but in the long run, I don't think it's really gonna amount to anything. It's just a little hump on their journey, so not a big deal. That said, I do wonder, like, the logic of all this. Ape goes and they indoctrinate, which is really just wipe memories. They go and they wipe memories, and then they put them back in the general population. Did they not expect that their teammates are gonna be like, hey, no, you guys knew each other for like a very long time? Like, it's just stupid, it's sloppy, it's inefficient, it's just Ape's stupid. And you know, like, this is just one of those signs of it. Like there's way better ways of going about this, and at the very least, man, if you're going to be running a dictatorship, or if you're going to be running like hard re-indoctrination camps, at the very least, get rid of all their belongings. Heck, if that was me, and I'm like hearing about like some dissenters, I'm going to think, okay, let's go re-indoctrinate them. Let's not just memory wipe them. Let's like make sure that they are loyal to us. Let's give them like the full like just screen of propaganda. Also, let's make sure that they have nothing on them that's going to cause this again. You know, let's burn their belongings. Like, listen, one of the biggest hits that you can do to a culture, and, you know, by extension to a person, is to burn their stuff. Burn the books, burn their history, wipe it all away, and then you can really destroy someone and rebuild them, okay? So, you know, rant aside, it's just stupid. Ape's stupid in general. Like, Ape screams stupidity all the way throughout. Even in the last episode, and I didn't talk about last episode last week, when they went to go see the Klaxosaur princess, that was the biggest pile of naivety that I've ever seen from, well, no, not the biggest pile of naivety, actually, no, not really, but that was the biggest pile of naivety from it. It was actually kind of hilarious how stupid Ape seemed in that one attempt. Anyway, rants aside, this isn't that big of a deal. I don't think it's that big of a deal. During the preview for this episode, I thought, yeah, you know, chances are we're probably going to be heading into like bad times after this episode, because there's no way that this is just going to be hunky-dory, and that's what we ended up getting. But really, you know, it really depends what Darling and Franxx wants to do at this moment. I look at it and I see it as an issue of, is this event enough to get Hiro and the rest squarely against Ape and just the way things are done? And the reality is, I'm looking at this and I look at the rhetoric at the end of the episode where Hiro's talking about like, yeah, like, you know, what are we gonna do? And it's like, I want the kids to rebel. I think that's a thought that a lot of the fans have. The reality is, I'm seeing this. I remember all of the conversations that Hiro and Zero 2 have had about flying away and all that, and about having wings. But at the end of the day, they're in a birdcage, just like 9 Alpha said. And I think that effect is going to be it's going to be strong. I don't think the kids are going to ever try to rebel. I think the chances that the kids try to rebel right now, if it doesn't happen in the next episode, are like so monumentally small. It's just, the kids are going to keep getting frustrated. They're going to keep getting dealt bad hands, and they're going to keep taking it. They're going to grit their teeth and take it. Why? Because these kids don't understand what to do beyond that. Like, I made the joke a few episodes ago that, hey, why didn't the kids just jump out of the glass? And there was someone like in the comments that mentioned, oh yeah, you know, like, well, because you don't want to jump out of glass because, you know, you're going to get caught, not caught, you're going to get cut up, and you're going to, like, you know, you might slit your wrists and all that. And it's like, you know, that's cool and all, but then when you think about it, Hiro is the king of jumping through glass. And in this episode, we saw that there was a opening right at ground level that the Nines used to come in. They didn't break it, because we would have heard if they broke the glass. So that was something. And it's just, the kids had every opportunity to try and get away from that plantation. Mind you, it would have been a suicide mission. They would have been going into the wastelands, but at that point it's like picking the lesser of two evils. But they didn't do it, and that's fine. And now we're at this situation where your friends have had their memories wiped. Hiro and Zero 2 understand the implications of what caused it, and they're not gonna run away. They're gonna stay in this little camp. Why? Because they're caged birds. They just don't know what to do other than to just stay. I don't have any faith in their ability to run away from this place. I have no faith. The kids have given up a lot of their autonomy, and unless we have some kind of intervention from Dr. Franxx, I just don't see any kind of progression here. These kids are going to be stuck. They're going to be like used as Ape's playthings. They're going to be moved in whatever places to get the Klaxosaur Princess plot going, and they're not going to be able to get away. And that's the other thing. We can guarantee that they're not going to be getting away because we have to deal with the Klaxosaur Princess. And unfortunately, we're at episode 18. I think we have till episode 24. That's 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's 6 episodes. Yeah, no. Chances are we're going to meander a little bit in somewhere in another 2 episodes. I don't know where they're going to be placed, but there's going to be 2 more meandering episodes, and then we're going to rush into plot. And that's going to be hilarious on one hand, but it's also going to just be kind of frustrating on the other. Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking about it. I am pretty frustrated from all this, just because it sucks that the kids are going through all this. Anyway, you know, speaking of Dr. Franxx, there is that question. I do wonder, what was Dr. Franxx's input in all of this? He is at heads with the Ape Council, so I could see it as him just being vetoed in all this. So if he serves as a fire of rebellion for the next episode, that's cool, but it doesn't take away from the point that the kids need to be told to rebel before they can rebel. Anyway, not the point. I do kind of want the input from Dr. Franxx. In exchange for Dr. Franxx, though, in this episode, we got the Hachi and Nana stuff. And that was interesting in of itself. Nana's getting back her feelings. She's remembering stuff. Hachi was with her. And now we know that the parasites actually can reach some form of young adulthood, I would assume. Hachi and Nana, I could see them being like 21, 22. So that's really good. That gives hope for the parasites. So that was pretty cool to see. On another thing, when you look at the Mitsuru Kokoro thing, it is really funny that Hiro is just playing matchmaker and he continues to be the kid on the top of the hill telling people all about the good news of thinking for yourself. And it's just funny how Hiro is the one that tells them about marriage and they go and do it. It's just it's funny. Like, some of the characters are entirely motivated by what Hiro tells them, and some of the characters think for themselves. But it's just, when I read that line, it was just an issue of like, why doesn't Hiro and Zero Two get married? Like, why he's the kind of person that just wants to see all his friends married so he can live vicariously through them. And I find that kind of funny. It does like raise the question, like, hey, why don't Zero Two and Hiro get married? Given that Zero Two and Hiro have so many problems with like their background, I could totally see that these two see that marriage is something that they're kind of like past. Like, they are ready, like they have so many other problems coming into it. Like, they have the cultural problem, they have like the problem of like what they are, humans or monsters, they have the problem of the extra context of the book, they have the problem of the stress in general. So them playing this kind of passive game makes sense to me. Another big moment that I do want to applaud was Zero Two fighting off the majority of the nines. That was amazing, but it's funny when you see Zero Two fighting and then you have Hiro and the rest on the ground. It's like, no, and it's like, oh come. It's like Zero Two is so wholly impressive that if anyone else was like half as impressive as Zero Two, like the whole little fight scene with the nines would have been wildly different. But that fight scene does a lot, and it makes me want to believe, or makes me want to really see the moment that Zero Two punches 9 Alpha in the face, maybe in a Franxx. I think that would be great. I live for that scene. Finally, the last scene that I think deserves some attention is, of course, the Ikuno stuff. Just because that was pretty raw, man. And you know, Ichigo was being very understanding and Ikuno was being very understanding. I thought that was a pretty nice way of going about it. I'm pleased. I am wholly satisfied with it. That worked out well. That worked out well. Like, it's really sad, but it worked out well. I think they did a good job there. I think Ichigo was being very mature. Oh, speaking of maturity, there's Futoshi. Futoshi decided to be the priest to officiate, and I think this is better than his previous episode of him saying, "That's my Kokoro." I think this was much better. That said, I do wonder how this memory wipe is going to factor into his thoughts about this. Is Futoshi going to be the one who's critical in bringing back the memories for Mitsuru and Kokoro? Right? Because you could see it as, if he did that, his character development when it came to Kokoro, that would be great, because that's gonna be a pretty loud statement for his character. So if he were to do that, actually, I'm totally in for that. I would love to see that. Anyway, I think that's the majority of my thoughts for the episode. I'm gonna end it off on this nice little picture here of the kids before like tragedy struck. I think, yeah, you know, this was sad, but honestly, whatever. Doesn't really like make much of a difference. All that's changed is that some people can't remember stuff, and now kids are in the parasite camp. They're angry, but I don't think they're gonna act on it. So we'll see next episode. If we get a full rebellion episode next episode, I will be like 100% surprised. So yeah, guys, what do you think is gonna happen in the next episodes? Do you have hope that we're gonna get everything like properly sorted out within like the last 6 episodes, in the last 6 episodes? Let me know what you think down below, and until next time, I hope you have a great day.